Hello, welcome to Levant TV Headlines. Palestinian President Mahmud Abbas said he supported Egypt's crackdown on tunnels linking the Hamas-controlled Gaza Strip to the Sinai Peninsula and any other action the country took to protect itself from militants. Tunisia's former premier and Ennahda Secretary General Hamadi Jibali announced on Facebook that he was stepping down from the Islamist party as he is no longer agreed with its policies. UN envoy Hirut Gewebre Selassie has warned the chaos in Libya threatens other countries in the region and must be quickly brought under control. Saudi Arabia has beheaded a Pakistani for heroin smuggling, bringing to 10 the number of people from his country executed in the kingdom for drug trafficking since mid-October. And finally, Iran will resume negotiations with world powers in Geneva next week, aimed at reaching a deal over Tehran's controversial nuclear program. And now let's have a look at top headlines in today's newspapers in the Middle East. Starting with the Egypt Independent, which leads reporting that the Muslim Brotherhood called on its official website to unite political forces and groups opposed to military rule and renounce political disputes in order to focus energy against the Supreme Court of Armed Forces. The paper also reports that Electricity Minister Mohammed Shakir said the government is mulling a change in price of electricity at peak time after ratifying the new tariff declared in June over 5 years until 2019, as the subsidy will be gradually removed. From the UAE, the Khalij Times leads reporting that stock markets across the GCC tumbled on Thursday in a new wave of panic sell-off after oil price continued its relentless retreat to a 5-year low amid a dismal forecast by the OPEC about a shrinking global oil demand and a hefty supply surplus in 2015. The paper also reports that the NATO's Secretary General has praised Gulf countries for their role in fighting extremists in Syria and Iraq and said tackling the threats the militants pose will require long-term multinational efforts. And from Beirut, the Daily Star reports that Prime Minister Tamam Salam says that the Lebanese army would receive arms very soon as part of the Saudi-funded French arms deal and that France would help the country overcome the presidential impasse. The paper also reports that MP Walid Jumblat defended his decision to pursue legal actions against his one-time close aide Bahij Abu Hamzeh, accusing his family, who has been pleading Jumblat to drop charges of shedding crocodile tears. And now let's have a look at top Middle East headlines from papers here in London. The Telegraph leads Middle East News reporting that Germany is planning to send troops to Iraq in a major break with the military policy it has followed since the end of the Second World War, and one that may even require the country's constitution to be changed. A handful of German military personnel are already in northern Iraq training Kurdish Peshmerga fighters in the use of sophisticated weapons, but Mrs. Merkel's government wants to send more than 100 troops in a major expansion of the mission. The Independent leads Middle East News reporting that a gang of ISIS militants have killed a man by throwing him from the roof of a building after a makeshift court who believed he was homosexual ruled out that he'd be punished. The extremist group released the images amid reports that ISIS is attempting to sell the body of James Foley for $1 million in a grim attempt to secure funds. And The Guardian reports that Britain's biggest Islamic charity is due to resume its operations in Palestine in defiance of a ban on working in the territory after Israel's defense ministry described the aid group as a terrorist organization. And in an interview with The Guardian, Islamic Relief's chief executive Mohammed Ashmawi said month of work has turned up nothing and the charity would return to its humanitarian work in Palestine. Now let's have a look at top headlines in international papers. From China, the Global Times reports that Hamas leaders have called on envoy of UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon to the Middle East to work harder on speeding up the stalled process of reconstruction in the Gaza Strip. Leaders of Hamas movement in Gaza and Robert Seri met in Gaza City while hundreds of Palestinians demonstrated before the UN headquarters, calling on the UN to speed up the reconstruction of their destroyed houses. And finally, the International New York Times reports that 3 Saudis suspected of having ties to the Islamic State extremist group have been arrested in the shooting of a Danish citizen last month. It was the first attack on a Westerner believed to be carried out by supporters of the Islamic State in the kingdom. And And for more updates, please visit us on levant.tv. Thanks for watching and bye for now.